All right, guys, I just got out of the theater. I'm here to do my rapid reaction to Captain America 4 Brave New World. I can't believe it's finally here. We've been speculating about this movie for so long. Non-spoiler review for now. I'll do a spoiler review later on when I get home. So, my initial reaction to this movie is it's a middle-of-the-pack MCU movie. It definitely is not a debacle. It's definitely not a disaster. It was a lot of panicking for nothing. Who knows what was reshot? Who knows what was in the original movie? Anything with Harrison Ford, I believe, that was in the first trailer was probably the original stuff and the original scenes with Anthony Mackie. The Giancarlo Esposito stuff, which was added in the trailer, was new. There was definitely a lot of clunkiness to this movie. The outline of a really, really good movie was there, of a Winter Soldier type movie was there. Unfortunately, they didn't really land the plane. Now, there was nothing in particular that was like, oh my God, this is really bad. This is like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. There's a couple of cringe jokes maybe that don't land, but other than that, there's nothing really bad. It's just nothing that we probably haven't seen before. There was, however, a bunch of positives. I thought the Red Hulk stuff was pretty cool. There did some stuff that I won't say here. I'll do my spoilers. There were some elements of that fight, of his character that I wasn't expecting that I thought was pretty cool. There was also some other Marvel stuff, like the Celestial, which we saw in the trailer, and some stuff how they handled that, which I thought was pretty cool. And it was good to finally be on Earth with actual Earth problems where it was believable that all of the Avengers weren't needed. And I thought that was an issue in some other things. Like, for example, in WandaVision, I think it's kind of stupid that Doctor Strange shows up. In this situation, I think it's kind of believable. It's more of a political thing. So you wouldn't really have superpowered beings here. I thought Harrison Ford did a good job. Not his best acting performance, but overall, I think he definitely, improved the movie. Like I said, it was just clunky. I thought you definitely kind of felt it, particularly around the Giancarlo Esposito character. I'll get into that later. I have some issues with, kind of how they portrayed this character. He did a good job, but just kind of in the writing and what they decided to go. So who knows what was originally there. Overall, I don't think that this movie is so consequential. We add the Red Hulk into the MCU. We get Anthony Mackie. In my opinion, it's a second performance as Cap because I like the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. I think the Falcon and Winter Soldier show is a better product than this movie. There were some things in this movie that are better, but overall, I think I like that show, with the exception of the villains, better than this, and John Walker. And I think that whole thing with, although Isaiah Bradley was in this movie, we got all of Isaiah Bradley's backstory in that show. We got them trying to replace Captain America in that show, and I think a lot of those storylines were kind of missing here. I think those were kind of the storylines that we wanted to see. Another thing I'll say in kind of non-spoiler way is I think they just got to get Anthony Mackie to Super Soldier Serum. I don't know why they're so against it. Obviously, you've already established he doesn't want to take it, but just get him the serum. I don't know why we're avoiding so many cool fight scenes just because we're being stubborn about this. And I think you just got to give it to him. I don't know. There's a million different ways you could figure out why he takes it, but just have him take it. There's so many fight scenes where they got to do like a million different things, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like Captain America. And it's not because of Anthony Mackie, it's just because of what he's doing. It could be anyone. You can have the coolest guy in the world doing this, and it just, so I would just, kind of get him on the Super Soldier Serum and just kind of end this charade of him. We know he can be a pilot. We know he can do all that stuff. Other than that, I just don't think this movie's so consequential. Like I said, I think the Thunderbolts is a more important movie and will be a much better movie than this. And I think the Fantastic Four, that's a consequential movie because we can't afford a bad movie like that going into the Avengers. I wasn't in love with the new Falcon. I know we've gotten him in the show as well. I just thought he was a little bit goofy. I don't know if that was just the way he was written, but yeah. Overall, like I said, middle-of-the-pack MCU movie. I would put this movie probably on par with like an Ant-Man, in an Earthbound movie like that. I can't confidently say it's obviously not better than Civil War, Winter Soldier, and I don't think I can say it's better than Captain 1 either. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to say it's definitely the weakest Captain America movie, although it's not a lower tier MCU movie. I think it's definitely a mid-tier MCU movie, but at the same time, there's so many of these now, especially when you mix in the shows. I don't think it could be a top 10 project for anyone. Overall, I think it's a win for Marvel that they didn't release a debacle, quite honestly. I don't think that they could afford a debacle. So the fact that they can just kind of release this movie into obscurity, I think is a pretty big win for them. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I don't really have any hot takes. Anthony Mackie does a good job, and they kind of salvaged this movie. But again, I am frustrated because I don't know why we couldn't get a Winter Soldier type movie. They had some really, really good ideas here. Some really, really ideas that I thought were strong and had a lot of potential. And there's just something about the writing that, I guess my last point is they got to start treating the fans with some sort of intelligence. There are fans like myself who have sat through, between the movies and the shows, 40 projects. You don't have to explain to me what, Marvel shit is, And I won't spoil it, but, they'll just, for example, in the past projects, they'll be like, oh, the Snap and Thanos. And, you don't have to explain stuff. We know what's happening. And if someone doesn't know what's happening, they've already bought their ticket and they're in the movie. So who cares if they're confused? They've already paid their money. So those are my thoughts on it. There's one post-credit scene, which I wasn't in love with, but if you want to stick around, it's kind of deep into the credits. So those are my non-spoiler thoughts. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'm going to go home and do a spoiler review as always. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.